Well, hello and hello. Welcome. It's now coming up to 1 minute before 1 p.m. on Thursday, 8th of February. And we are live in the Dental Marketing Club. So this is our monthly meeting where we talk about online marketing for dentistry. So we've been looking at a whole range of things over these club meetings. We've been looking at traffic optimization, and we're now looking at conversion optimization. So the past few of these club meetings, we were looking at conversion optimization. We've looked at what you need to do on your website, what you need to do off of your website in order to get the maximum number or the maximum amount of traffic to your website. But traffic on its own is completely useless. You could have a website that has 1 million visitors a month, but if none of those million visitors convert into customers, patients, or dentists, if you're a laboratory or anything else, then it's absolutely pointless spending all of that time, money, and effort on your traffic optimization. So for me, traffic optimization and conversion optimization absolutely have to work hand in hand. They're two sides of the same coin. So very often a practice or a customer will say to me, can you optimize our website? Can you work on getting more traffic to it? And the answer is well, yes, I can. But if that's all they want me to do, then the answer is no, because for me, that's pointless. It's pointless getting more traffic to a site if that site doesn't convert. So I always want to look at those two things together, conversion optimization as well. So please do say hello as you join this, as you join the webinar today. Feel free to say hello, ask questions as we go. As ever, just to let you know, if you see me looking around, I've got a mixing deck over here so that I can see what I'm mixing and what's coming up. I've got you here in my presentation right in front of me that I'm looking at. And if you see me looking over this way, it's because I'm looking at my Facebook Live screen so that if you ask comments, I can see those comments appear. That's why I'm kind of looking in 3 different locations. So let's get cracking. We'll be together for the next 45 minutes, something like that. And we're going to be looking at, in this particular month, creating an engaging website. So we're looking at specifically creating an engaging website for your online marketing. So we're going to be looking at content that keeps people on the site. We're going to be looking at content that answers people's questions, and we're going to go through the importance of writing this type of content as we go through this lunchtime presentation. We're going to be looking at website navigability. So a highly converting website will be a site that's easy to navigate. So we're going to look at some of the aspects of that as well. We're going to look at calls to action on your website for each stage of the purchase decision. As a person is going through their purchasing decision about deciding whether to come to visit you as a business, they will have a different stage that they're at in that purchase decision. And you have no way of knowing what stage they're at when they visit your site. So making an assumption that someone is ready to contact you immediately is a very big assumption to make. So we're going to look at calls to action for each stage of the purchase decision. We're going to look at calls to action in multimedia formats. Not everyone wants to fill in a web form. Not everyone wants to phone you. Not everyone wants to use a website. So how can we use multiple media formats? We're going to look at videos for creating a highly converting website. We're going to look at a right-hand sidebar design, and we're going to look at website design. That's not the pretty stuff. This is specifically looking at the design of the website, what goes where in order to get the highest conversion rates. We're going to look at question and answer formats on your website and social proof. So for me, these are the things you need to have on your website in order to have a highly converting website. So this is the first of 3 months that we're going to be looking at conversion optimization. An engaging website is the first month, and social media is the second month, and email is the third month. So let's get cracking. The first two things we're going to look at is content that keeps people on your site and content that answers people's questions. So it's really about the specific content that is on your website. So we need to be looking at some keyword research. We need to be understanding what those people want to read when they're on your site. The typical person does not want to read a website that is just a sales brochure. So I often hear practices, laboratories, other companies that say, well, I've got a website and it's a really good brochure for looking through. Well, a brochure for looking through sort of treatments and services, for me, is completely pointless. It really doesn't serve much purpose online. We want to have something that is much more highly converting than that. People visit your website to answer their questions, to look for more information. They don't particularly visit your website to want to be sold to. So understanding those keywords, understanding those words and phrases is increasingly important, and I'll show you some ways that we can do that. Information videos can be a fabulously good way of A, keeping people on your site, and B, getting people to convert. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about those videos, and we keep the selling to an absolute minimum, almost with no selling, if that's at all possible. If you can do that, you get increased time on the website. Now, if you remember back to when we were looking at traffic optimization, Google will look at your website, and this is where the two things actually relate very well. If you have a highly converting website, your website will be engaging and people will be staying on your website for a good amount of time. Google knows that, so when it sends someone to your website, we'll be monitoring the amount of time that they're on that site. And the more time someone spends on your site, Google says, well, hey, this must be a good website. It answers people's questions. It's got information videos and it's really informative. That's a good website, and it sends more traffic. So conversion and traffic optimization work hand in hand together. Content that answers people's questions. So one of the ways that I recommend you do that is have a look at Quora. I've put that on the site there, Quora, Quora. Quora is a brilliant question and answers website. You can join it and you can find out the type of questions that people are asking about dentistry. So all the questions are categorized. You can join and you can answer those questions on Quora. So you can join whatever business you're in, you can find that particular niche and find out the type of questions that people are asking on Quora. Take those questions and put those questions onto your website and answer them on your website as well. It's a really good way of having an engaging website and understanding what people are looking for, what they're searching for, and the types of questions that they ask. So think about how people will phrase their dental problems. How will people phrase their questions? What type of questions will they ask? And how can you answer them? I'm going to show you some examples of these as we go through. If you do that, if you have good questions and answers on your website, you will have a reduced bounce rate. In other words, when someone visits your website from Google, so they go to Google, they might type, how much do dental implants cost, or do dental implants hurt, for example. They find your website, they visit your website, they see a question and answer section on your website, they say, hey, well, actually, I've got the question I need. I don't need to go back to Google to find the next search result. I've actually had my question answered. And again, Google will say, hey, this website was good. I sent someone there. The website answered that person's question. They didn't come back to me, Google, to ask for more questions. And that's what Google calls a bounce rate. So it's bouncing back to Google. If Google notices you have a very low bounce rate, ideally around 40%, and you can check that in your Google Analytics, then Google will say, well, this is a very good website. It's likely to be highly converting, and it actually answers people's questions. So again, having a highly converting website works very well with having a website that has more traffic to it as well. So the two work hand in hand. High conversion and high traffic actually work together. So let's look at some specific examples. So you can see this is a website here. It's one of my clients, and we have here we've got how many dental implants will I need? What are the benefits of porcelain dental veneers? Are there problems with dental veneers? What is the dental veneers procedure? So what we've done here on this site is we have gone through and we've looked at Cora, we've looked at other techniques, and I'll show you those as well as we go through, for understanding what questions do people ask, and also, how do they phrase those questions? So are they using porcelain veneers? Are they saying dental veneers? They're using the word procedure. What's the procedure? Problems, dental veneers, benefits of dental veneers, how many dental veneers? These kind of questions are the things that people ask. And if you put those on your website and you phrase them as questions and answers, then you stand far more chance of pulling in traffic to your site. Now, one of the things that people will often say is that they'll say, well, this is not optimized for my local area. You know, I want people that want dental veneers in, I don't know, Watford or Bridport or Hertfordshire or wherever you live. This is very true. We need to have your page optimized for those local search criteria as well. So each page will have that local area. Watford, Bridport will be mentioned on that page, as will dental veneers. And if you look back at the previous webinars, you'll see how we do that for the local area. What we're also interested in here is not being too specific. If you're too specific about the local area, so let's say we were in Bridport, so I live just outside Bridport, and let's say we put in here, how many dental veneers will I need? And I started to put in there, well, our dental practice in Bridport offers veneers for the local Bridport people in Dorset and West Bay and blah, 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 blah. It becomes less attractive to Google to send traffic to, because it becomes more apparent that you're trying to sell something. And I'll show you as we go through. I keep saying we'll show examples, and we will show examples, and you'll see more of the examples of that and where Google might put this question and answers if you are less specific. It also means that people may visit your site and think, hey, this is really good. This has really answered my question. And I've seen this happen. I've seen people visit websites. I've seen them then go off to, say, Mumsnet, sites which have massive amounts of traffic, moneysavingexpert.com, those kind of places. They go on there and someone will be asking a question. They'll say, let's say for Money Saving Expert, someone might be asking a question. I want to have dental veneers and I want to save money, and how can I do that? Now, one of the questions you might answer on your website is, how can I save money with dental veneers? And you might talk about the key to saving money with dental veneers is looking after teeth in the first place. However, we understand that doesn't always happen. Now, one of the ways you can save money with dental veneers is to possibly look at immediate veneers or instant veneers using dental bonding, as an example. And if someone goes to Money Saving Expert, they may say, well, actually, I saw this really good article on XYZ dental practice. I'll put a link to it. That link then becomes a massively influential link. Think back to when we were talking about traffic optimization in previous webinars. Google sees that link and goes, hey, this website is obviously very good. Someone's put a link from a high value site, moneysavingexpert.com, to your website. That link creates link juice. The link juice flows in and your website starts to rank higher. The more links you get pointing to your site, the higher you rank. And this is where conversion optimization and traffic optimization mix and merge and become one thing. So it is really important that you genuinely answer people's questions. And that's why I said at the beginning, minimum or as little selling as you can within this body content, because we want people to be thinking, this is really good. This is really good content. They're not trying to sell me stuff. They're just answering my questions. So you do need to ask, what question is my customer trying to solve when they are on my website, and answer those questions. And if you have any questions as we're going, please feel free to type them. I should be able to see them live as we go. So, excuse me. Oh dear. So, that was one single web page answering multiple questions about veneers. Another way, and a fabulous way, is to write a blog. So this is a screen grab of someone else that writes blog posts, and we answer blog posts about specific questions. So the questions we've answered: how to relax at the dentist. Whole blog post about how to relax at the dentist. Is teeth whitening at a beauty salon legal? Whole blog post about it. Is your mouth guard or splint up to scratch? Are your teeth giving you a headache? 10 quick fire questions to asking your dentist, dentures, everything you need to know. So in this example, we're kind of expanding on our content that we're writing on an individual page and writing whole blog posts about a very, very specific kind of niched question. So is teeth whitening at a beauty salon legal? That blog post is specifically and exclusively about that one single question. Now, Google loves blogs because blogs keep your website updated. They demonstrate that your site is lived in. And Google loves blogs. If you write blog posts like this, you will get traffic to your website. So I've got clients, we're getting 2,000 visitors per month to one single blog post. So same principles apply. Keep your selling to a minimum within that blog post. Hand out useful free information in that blog post. But we do need to keep calls to action, and I'll show you where those calls to action go as we come on to the website design aspect of this conversion optimization presentation. So blogs, really, really good way to answer people's questions about their dental problems or about their problems that they're searching for. So we've looked at content on a website. Let's look at navigation. So keep your navigation menus simple. As simple as possible is better. I would always say keep your contact button top right. So on this website here, we've got our contact button top right. Keep your home button top left. It just seems to be where our eye naturally goes. If we're trying to navigate our way around the website and we say, I want to contact these people, I want to send them an inquiry, I want to book, I want to take further action, I want to phone them. We may look at the bar at the top, so you may have a phone calls and things at the top of the website, but people do have a tendency to look to the right-hand side on a computer for that contact button. So just make it simple. Just keep the contact button on the right-hand side and keep your home page or link back to the home page on the left. You can put whatever you want in the middle. It just seems to work better that way. Keep your navigation as simple as possible. One of the other things to do is people don't always want to use your navigation bar to navigate around the site. And this is a really good example. So this is a blog post, and we've written this blog post. Let me get a different highlighter here. Let me get a pen. So we've written a blog post here about the signs and symptoms of mouth cancer, kind of are you mouth cancer aware? Now, what we've done within that blog post is we've written or we've mentioned the word dental health checks, and we've made those words dental health checks a link back to the dental health checks section of our website. This is important for two reasons. It makes your website really nice and easy for a patient to navigate, and it helps it stay relevant to the patient. So let's say I am a patient and I've searched signs and symptoms of mouth cancer. I've landed on your website. I'm reading the content, and you're talking about your dentist should be routinely performing an oral cancer screening at each of your dental health checks. I might think, oh really? Well, that's interesting. What's a dental health check about? What's in a dental health check? If you've made that a clickable link, as I'm reading the content, I can click on that link, and now the content expands and becomes ever increasingly relevant to that person, which again keeps someone on the website for a longer period of time, answer their questions, they don't go back to Google again, which keeps your time on the site and your bounce rate low, which is good for Google, and it makes an engaging website. It keeps people on your website. So it's really important to keep those links going backwards and forwards between relevant pages in your site, and it just allows someone to find what they want as they're going, rather than you say an oral cancer. We regularly perform an oral cancer screening at each of our dental health checks, and then they've then got to go, well, what's a dental health check? Click on menu, find where it is. Make it simple, make it easy. So go through your website and look at ways to say, well, how could I put these links in the text back to other relevant pages? And that also helps for optimization as well in your site, because Google will see those links and start to crawl around and go, hey, yeah, this page is relevant. That's linked to that. This is relevant. So those links are important as well for optimization. You also need to make sure that your site is easily navigable on mobile devices. So I would highly recommend, nay, insist that your site is responsive. So a responsive website will basically say, however big the screen is that I'm being looked at, I will be responsive and I will adjust and adapt to that size of screen. It's kind of the modern way of writing your website. So your website should be responsive. That's different to having a mobile website. My recommendation is you have a responsive site. It's far easier to manage and work on because you work on one site. If you have two websites, in other words, a full site and a mobile site, you could run into problems with Google with having duplicate content. Google may see those two as individual websites. They'll see the same content on both, think that's duplicate content. What are you doing? Unless you manage that very well. It can also become very difficult if you have two separate sites. Let's say you want to add some links between sites, and people look on they see that link perhaps on Facebook. They click from a Facebook link to your main site, then it then sees it's a mobile phone, it bounces them off to a mobile site, and suddenly that link is lost. It really doesn't work as well. So I'd highly recommend you have a responsive site, then those links will work always wherever you post them on any device. So this is a screenshot of my website, and you can see I've got the home button on the left, the contact on the right, and this is obviously on a desktop. When we go to a mobile, what you have on my site is what are called hot buttons appear. So you can see this content here, relax knowing your dental website, is exactly the same here, relax knowing your dental website. But what appears above them on a mobile device is three little hot buttons. And hot buttons are a really great way to make your site more navigable when people are, rather than trying to click, you know what you get on a mobile website design, you get those three lines for the menu, and sometimes finding that with a button with big hands on small screens is a bit difficult. Whereas if you have hot buttons to kind of the primary areas of your site, the primary things that people primary things that people click on, if you have hot buttons, it can make it very easy to navigate. Works much better that way. So let's move on. Let's carry moving on. Hi, Anne, you've just joined. Thank you very much. Welcome. If you're live and online, you want to say hello. Say hello. It's always good to know who is online with us. So, site is easy to navigate. Oh, and by the way, if you have just joined, like Anne, that is cool. This website, whilst we're live, this presentation, whilst we're live, will remain in perpetuity on Facebook. What I'll also do is I'll upload it to my YouTube channel, and I'll stick it on my blog as a blog post. So the video gets used over and over, and you'll always be able to find it again if you want to come back and reference things in the past. So let's move on. Calls to action for each stage of the purchase decision. So this is really, really, really important. When someone is making a decision about purchasing something, we always go through a series of steps. Not everyone, when they land on your website, is going to be ready to make a decision straight away. So I want to go through that decision-making process very quickly with you. So, and we did this in the last one as well when we were talking about traffic optimization. So these two things do link very well together. So the first thing is someone decides they're going to make a purchase. They need to know that they have a problem. Whatever that purchase is, a new pair of shoes, I'm going to purchase a new pair of shoes. My problem is Thank you, Shazza Hamid. Great tips. Good. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. It's nice to know what people think. So whenever we make a purchase, we always at the beginning of that we need to have a need recognition that I need a new pair of shoes, or that there's a problem. I can't smile very well, so I want to sort my teeth out. There's always that happens at the beginning of the decision-making process. Once we've done that, we move on to the next stage and say, well, I'm now going to do an information search. So I'm going to start to look for possibly ways to solve my problem. So it could be, I'll give you an example. I dance, okay? So I dance modern jive quite frequently. Now, my dance shoes at the moment are getting a bit old and decrepit. So problem, need a new pair of dance shoes. Information search. Are there other ways to solve my problem? So I've bought some amazing dance socks which slip over a regular pair of shoes and you can dance them. So they turn a regular pair of shoes into a pair of dance shoes. So that's my information search. Now, I may have gone straight to buy a new pair of dance shoes, but in this occasion I've gone with, I'll buy some dance socks. So we have an information search. Patients would do the same thing. Let's say they have missing teeth. They may go, information search time, how can I replace missing teeth? They do some information search and they find that you can do bridges, you can do dentures, you can do implants, and we can go on and on and on. So there's an information search. Once we've done an information search and we've found out how we can solve our problem, so in my case, dance socks, we then go to evaluation of alternatives. Where can I buy my dance socks from? Not dance frocks, definitely don't wear dance frocks, but I do wear dance socks. Where in different places, where can I get these from? Now, evaluation of alternatives could be alternative ways of solving the problem. It could also be alternative places to get that problem solved. So, evaluation of alternatives in a dental situation. Problem, I can't smile, I can't eat. Information search, how can I replace missing teeth? Evaluation of alternatives, I might want a bridge, I might want a denture, I might want an implant, or I might say, well, I do want one of those, I'm going to evaluate my alternatives as to which dental practice I'm going to go to. We then go on to our purchase, so we'll contact that practice, we'll contact that business, and after we've been through that, post-purchase evaluation. Now, we need to have calls to action for as many stages as possible. The problem awareness section needs recognition. We can influence that when we come into social media. So we're going to be looking at social media next month, and I'm going to talk more about problem awareness and needs recognition in the social media side of things. That's one of the ways that we can use social media to drive traffic and to drive interest. But what I'm saying here, I'm going to move through to the information search section. So we're saying information search, patient has recognized they have a problem. They're now online. They may have gone online and they've said, I need to replace my missing teeth. They've found your website about replacing missing teeth. Now, what I do, and this is the way that I work, is we create a free download, free information pack. So this particular one is about having braces. It answers all the questions you can want to have about braces, and we've got a download now button. So a person can download it. But when they download, where they download in exchange for an email address. Now, when we come on to the email marketing section of this, which is in a couple of months' time, I'm going to talk specifically about how we do that email marketing. So you're going to need to watch all of these videos in one to work out the whole process. At this stage, all I'm saying is we need to have this call to action for someone in an early information search stage of their decision-making process. They are not ready to request an appointment. They are not ready to come in to see you for a free consult. They are not ready to phone you. So if for all that's the only call to action you have on your website, you are missing out a massive group of people because they are not ready yet. We need to have some information for people in the information search section of your website. And we're going to come on, so we do that with email. When I come on to that section of this in a couple of months' time, we'll talk specifically about email. Okay, so evaluation of alternatives. They may be evaluating which practice to go to. So we need to have some form of incentive to get them to come to see you. This is where things like free consultations can work. Not every practice does a free consult. Sometimes we do an online voucher for a refund of initial assessment. Sometimes we do an online offer only. So this we do a discounted dental health check. Now, most practices will offer a discounted dental health check. So, for example, the typical new patient assessment is something like £50. Typical new patient assessment will last approximately half an hour, which makes an hourly rate of £100 an hour. If I ask a typical practice, what do you need to generate per hour? They might say £200 per hour, which actually means you're doing your discount, your new patient assessment at 50% discount on your normal hourly rate. So we can use that to be explicit to say, come in for dental health assessment. This is £50. This is 50% on the regular treatment rate. Download a voucher now, blah, blah, blah. And then we've got a call to action doing exactly what you do already, but we're slightly rephrasing it. And we have to be careful about how that's phrased, how we collect the data, particularly with the general data protection regulations coming in May. And I am going to be talking about that when we do the email part of this Dental Marketing Club. So, evaluation of alternatives, a call to action at that stage of the process is where we have your free consult or something to get someone to say, well, okay, I'm wavering, I'm not sure, I'm evaluating my alternative, that practice, this practice have got a good incentive, I'm going to go with that. So this is the discounted dental health check that I've spoken about. And this is a refund of initial assessment. So there's different ways of doing it, and we always do it with an email address. So moving on rapidly, because we're halfway through already. Well, we're through half an hour. So calls to action in multiple formats. So this is what I mean. So these are typically, I have buttons on the site. We can do it with buttons, we can do it with words, we can do it with pop-ups, we can do it all sorts of things. So I would like to see call us today, and that is a button that when people click on that button, it automatically opens up the dialer. So many people have dialing facilities on their desktop. I do. That's how I run my business. I work from a business, from my computer. If there's a call button on a website and I click it on my computer, the dialing software will open up. It connects to my phone, connects to my headset, and when we're away and we're dialing. Many people use these things to browse websites. And if you click the button on here, the phone will recognize that it's a dialer button that you've clicked, and it will open up the dialing app in a phone and will immediately open up the dial. They can click dial. So a call to action, which is to phone, is really, really important, especially as more and more people, and in my experience looking at the analytics of client websites, at least 60% of people will be viewing your website from a mobile device, not necessarily a phone, but a tablet, but something other than a desktop computer. We also have a click to request an appointment button and click to schedule a free consultation. So again, we've got a phone call if people are saying, hey, yeah, I want to go. Request an appointment if people are saying, hey, yeah, I want to go. Click to schedule your free consultation on relevant pages. So some practices might only offer a free consult for implants or for smile designs or for orthodontics. So we have a free consult button on the relevant page. And I tend to put that free consult within the body text. So as the patient is reading the text, finding out more and more, we have a download if they're reading the text and they just want to download information, if they're in that stage of their decision-making process. We have click to schedule your free consult if a patient's saying, well, actually, I've got all the information I need, I'm wavering about, I'm deciding, evaluating the alternatives. Okay, I'll go with the free consult. We put that button in the middle of the text. So we've got multiple calls to action, allowing patients to engage and interact with us wherever they are in that decision-making process. So let's moving on rapidly. And as ever, if you want to ask questions, please feel free to post your comments as we go, and I can answer those questions live as we go. So let's look at videos. videos can be a really, really good way of making a website really engaging and highly performing. So I put explainer videos, and explainer videos don't, in my opinion, don't have to be professionally produced videos that you've had created in a studio and you've had a professional company in to come and do. That type of video, if you have a video on your homepage or an introduction video, yes, absolutely must be professionally produced, in my opinion. If you have explainer videos explaining about treatment, I think they can look really good if you create a nice video with a high resolution camera. Think about the background, have a nice background. You just talk to the camera, you look at the camera, you create engagement, and you explain things about that particular treatment. You answer patients' problems. Now, I've written VAKAD. This is because, one of the things I do is I am a neurolinguistic programming master practitioner. And in NLP, neurolinguistic programming, we look at the ways that people relate to the world, the ways that we communicate, the ways that we understand things. And we have these 4 representational systems, they're called. V stands for visual, A stands for auditory, K stands for kinesthetic, and AD stands for auditory digital. So just to explain those a little bit more. Visual means that we relate to the world in a very visual way. So people will often explain how they're relating to the world in a visual way by drawing pictures with their hands. Oh, you can see that's what I'm doing. So I draw pictures with my hands, and you can see when people are explaining things that they're pointing over here, or they're looking up here or down there, or moving backwards or forwards, and they're explaining the world. Hopefully, I will reconnect. Okay, reconnection successful. Cool. We should be back. Hopefully, I'll be back in a moment. So the auditory section is people relate to the world by listening. So they'll relate to the world, and they'll use words like, does that sound good to you? That rings the bells of change, those kind of phrases. So people are relating to the world in an auditory way. They're listening for things. They're listening, and they're listening to you. So an auditory person that relates to the world auditory might like Audible books. So, you get audible.com where you can download books that have been read. Those people like auditory. Kinesthetic are people that like to pick things up and touchy-feely things. People that say, I don't like the internet. I like to have something that I can, marketing material that I can pick up and touch. They're the kinesthetics. And auditory digitals, if you're a dentist, is most likely you. Auditory digital people are logical thinkers, engineers, people that will line things up to say, when I do a crown prep, I line up the burrs and the instruments so that I know which one to pick up next. And I like a dentist that's a logical thinker. We all want a dentist that thinks logically and thinks in steps and knows that if I do something here, it creates a problem further down the line. Now, just because you are an auditory digital thinker, which is actually not the majority of people, doesn't mean to say that everyone relates to the world the same as you do. The engineers and other dentists will relate to the world absolutely exactly like you do. So if you create your website in an auditory digital, which is this engineering kind of way, most people are going to go, well, I don't understand it. If you present your treatment plans the same way, saying, well, this is very logical, we do this, and there are no diagrams for the visuals, it's not explained for the auditories, you don't give something for people to pick up for the kinesthetics to understand what they're doing, models and things, you're going to miss out on a whole load of things. So videos can be a great thing for the visuals. They're something for people to watch. For the auditories, there's something for people to listen to. For the kinesthetics, it actually creates, well, actually, I've got to click on this video to get it started. It creates a kinesthetic, it creates a practical connection with you. And they are absolutely brilliant. So I had my website designed, as you can see here, with videos on every single page. So you can potentially view the whole website without ever reading any of the content. And I think that is a really good way of doing it. And so explainer videos can be really good for increased conversions, as can patient reviews and testimonials, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. So now we're going to move on to talk about website design. Now, I like a website design with a right-hand sidebar, and I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. The reason I like it is not because it looks pretty. I don't necessarily think it does. I have seen websites that look stunning. We scroll down and we've got bits of text moving in and things flying in from the side. They look beautiful. They look stunning. But I have websites that are very basic. Text, sidebar, and they convert. They just do. So I'm not going to go into necessarily the whys and wherefores of that. I'm just going to say, when I look at what works and what doesn't, I'm going to tell you what works, whether I like it from a pretty point of view or not. So websites with a right-hand sidebar, left-hand sidebar can work as well. I'm going to show you some examples. It means that in that sidebar, we can put our calls to action, our email sign-up opt-ins, we can put useful links, we can put social media, we can allow people to engage and interact with us. And in that side, so we've got the main body content, and we've got a sidebar, so where they're reading the content, and as they read the content, that sidebar can stay still, and we can have email opt-ins and sign-ups in that sidebar. And I've put at the bottom there, be aware of what happens in mobile formats. Quite often what happens on a computer screen is we'll have body content, and we'll have a sidebar with calls to action, which is great because as they're reading the content, we've got the calls to action to the side. But in a mobile format, that sidebar jumps to the bottom and the patient has to scroll all the way through. They have to take their mobile phone and scroll in order to see the calls to action if you put them in the sidebar. So just be aware of that, which is why, remember I was saying when I was talking about free consults, I put them in the body text. Keep some calls to action in the body text as well, particularly if your mobile format website jumps with the sidebar to put them at the end. So it's really looking at your website from mobile and desktop to see what does it do and where are my calls to action. So these are some examples. So you can see we've got the main body content, and in the sidebar that appears on every single page of the website, we've got the free consultation, the free consultation opt-in. This is another website. We've got the main body content. In the right-hand sidebar, we've got the call to action to phone us, and we've got our call to action. Again, this practice uses a free consultation. So it just seems to work. I'm not saying they look the prettiest. I don't necessarily think they do. I think they look very simple. But from a conversion point of view, people just seem to find them very easy to navigate. And when they're easy to navigate, we get high conversions. That's unfortunate. It's just the way it works. And both of those websites I've shown you, both of those websites I've shown you were built very simply in WordPress. They just convert, unfortunately. It doesn't mean to say you can't pay a designer and have a really nicely looking website designed in WordPress, but I do like really nice looking websites with a sidebar because they convert. It's just the way it goes. So, question and answer formats. So we're going to go back to some of the content. So question and answer formats. This is particularly because people are now using voice search. So people pick up their mobile phone and they'll go, okay, Google, how much are dental implants? When people do that, their search phrases are longer. They're searching for long questions. Hi, Nargisa. Hello, thank you for joining. People search in a question format. They tend to have a tendency not to do it quite so much when they're typing. So as I said earlier, use Quora as research. So sign up on Quora. Sign up to the dental questions and the health and see what questions people are asking. And avoid selling within the answers. That way you can get listed on Google, and avoid talking about yourself. So a really good way to do some research is to type in, say, dental implants. So you can see that's what I did here. I started to type what are dental implants, and I've got all of these questions. So if you do dental implants, just go to Google, type in what dental implants, and Google will give you these suggestions. These then become the headings on your dental implants page. What are dental implants? What is the cost of dental implants? What are mini implants? What is the average cost of dental implants? Perhaps what insurance covers implants? What's the procedure for dental implants? What are the best dental implants? You see, so if you just use Google and in its auto suggest bar, it actually starts to tell you how to format your website. When you do that, you can then start to appear in this people also ask. So if you type that into Google, let the search result come up, scroll down, you'll see people also ask. And when you click on that to open these out, you get the answers within Google, and there will be a link to your website. I can almost guarantee you will not get listed in these answers if you start to load your answers with, well, if you come to see us, we offer a free consultation and we're the best dentist in Bridport that offers this solution. Just answer that question without trying to sell, and you'll then get listed in these answers here, and you'll also get people post links to your website from other places that they go because you've been genuinely helpful. So it's really stop trying to sell, be genuinely helpful within your answer, but then perhaps between the answers, stick in a call to action about the free consultations and the downloads. So, as you can see, these are the kind of things that do. The dentalimplantcenter.com, I've obviously done this. So people also ask, and this is one of the questions that I've opened out, how much does an implant cost for one tooth? And here you see, you've got that answer. And we've got a link to their website. Now, I can almost guarantee they would not get in here. I don't know where these guys are. If they'd loaded all of the content in here by saying, well, how much does a dental implant cost? Well, when you come to see us, we will keep the price down and we will do this, and you would not get listed in this. So just answering the person's question gives you a far greater chance of being listed in these search results and creating more traffic to the website at the same time as getting more conversions. Social proof is also really important. Social proof is using testimonials. So just a few ways you can use testimonials. Handwritten testimonials are brilliant. Now do two things with a handwritten testimonial. Scan it and upload it as long as you have the patient's permission. So scan it and upload it to your site, because that is much harder to fake. So a typed testimonial can look as though it's faked. A handwritten one just tends to look a bit more genuine, especially when you've got multiple handwritten ones and they're different handwriting. But Google can't read your image at the moment. So Google has no way of knowing what that testimonial says. They have no way of knowing even that it is a testimonial. So it's really good to type that testimonial as well. So handwritten and typed, which is why on this web page, you can see we've got this here where I've typed the text of that testimonial into the website. And we can also, if you speak to your designer, you can what's called markup. So in the data behind this on the website, we can mark up that to tell Google that this is a testimonial by a happy patient. Using video testimonials are also brilliant. We don't want to see patients going, hey, look here what I've had done. Just say to the patient, how did you feel beforehand? What prompted you to come to see us? And how do you feel now? And what difference has it made to your life? Just a patient answering those simple questions can have a really good video testimonial. Google reviews, Facebook reviews, and any other review that you can get on your website will all add to social proof. The more social proof you have, the more highly converting your website will be. When we come to look at the email marketing, I'm going to show you how we can use email marketing to get more reviews, Google reviews and Facebook reviews. So that's going to be in a later one of these. Wow, have we looked at some content here? So we've looked at content that goes on your website to increase the time and reduce the bounce rate by answering people's questions and keeping selling to a minimum. We've looked at navigation on your site by having the home on the top left and the contact on the top right, by making sure that if you have a mobile site, you use hot buttons to get people to navigate around the site, and by using links within the content to enable people to navigate your site easily. When your site is easily navigable, it means people can find exactly what they want that's uniquely tailored to their question, which means it becomes highly converting. Calls to action of each stage of the process. So we're thinking about calls to action when people are just looking for information. That's our download. Calls to action when people are looking and comparing the alternatives. That is some form of incentive to pick you. Calls to action when they're ready to book an appointment in different formats. So in phoning you by having a click to call button, in requesting an appointment, and buttons to encourage them to download the free consultation voucher to get them into that cycle of things. We've looked at having videos, explainer videos. Remember, visual, audio, kinesthetic and auditory digital are the different ways that we relate to the world. You guys, if you're a dentist, are more than likely audio digital, which is the logical engineer way of thinking. Not everyone thinks like that. So keep things visual, keep things kinesthetic, keep things that people can listen to as well. We've looked at having a right-hand sidebar design, keeping some form of free consultation, your calls to action down the right-hand sidebar of your website with your main body content, keeping this question and answer format going throughout the sites that you get found on Google. Use Google itself to type dental implant, teeth straightening, Invisalign, 6-month smiles. Type that and see what auto suggest Google picks up, and Google will tell you the questions that people are asking. Use those questions in your website, which will then put in more traffic. Your website will be more highly converting because it will be found and people will like the content. And use social proof. So use your written testimonials, your typed testimonials, your video testimonials, and on Facebook and on Google. So that's it. Boy, have we looked at some serious stuff today. So up next, we're going to look at more detail of conversion optimization, specifically with social media. So this is specifically using social media to increase conversions to your website. This next one is Thursday, the 8th of March, so 1 month from today. Put the date in your diary, 1 p.m. on the Dental Marketing Club, UK time. This video that I've done today will stay permanently on the Dental Marketing Club page. I'll also upload it to my YouTube channel. I'll stick it on my website. And thank you so much for joining. You've got 15 minutes before your next patient at 2 o'clock. Go and have some lunch. Thank you. Take care. See you soon. Bye now.